paper, right? So it's quite demoralizing for some students, this question, okay? It looks really, really scary, okay? The truth is, yes, you don't know what the heck is going on, right? And it's 5 marks. So it really depends on your calmness during that period of time, and you try to see what you're trying to figure out. Now, the thing about limit is that you don't deal with it that often. Only a few times, right? What is that called? Summation with your limits. The rectangle question, integration rectangle, right? Limit. And then what else? Application, differentiation by first principle. That's the only time you all have limits. Blah, 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 never hear before. So all this we probably want to talk about just before we go into exam, okay? But this, so when you see limits, you only have that few things to talk about because it's limit to infinity some more. But the question in a way that's phrased may not give you the impression that this is the rectangle question, area of rectangle questions. Okay? Some people didn't even know until they come out of the exam hall. Then they also didn't know until someone tell them. Then they realize. Okay? So that is quite sad, to be honest. Okay, so they say with a sketch of a diagram, so you probably want to understand what it means by a continuous function. A continuous function is basically a function or a curve that is continuous. Right? You can draw anything as long as it's continuous. That's okay. That's continuous. All right? But of course, don't draw something like that. Like, don't just something that is commonly seen. Okay, now this is actually not a good example to draw. Maybe I draw like that. Okay? So this is a continuous curve. All right? I just draw. Explain with an 8 of a diagram. Okay, so that's the 8 of a diagram. Okay? Why the value of this is this? Now, honestly, you don't know what is this. But I'm sure you know what this is. What is this? Area under the curve. Area under this curve. Okay? Now you can draw it anyhow, by the way. You don't have to draw it this way. You can draw it any way. But the whole idea is area under the curve from 0 to 1. So if this is 0, this is 1, then you're talking about this area 1. Sounds very easy, isn't it? The only catch is, how come this area look like this? Correct. Now again, if you didn't think of it being the rectangle areas being all added up, then what you can do next is really just try to figure out what the heck is all this. Correct? All these components, what are these nonsense? Right? What do you mean by f of 1 over n? It seems like it is one whole here, and you divide by n parts. So this one gap is called 1 over n. So the f of 1 over n refers to the y coordinates. This is your f of 1 over n. Make sense? Your 2 over n is right here, because this gap is still the same gap, right? So then this becomes the f of 2 over n, which is actually the y coordinate. So all these things are actually all the y coordinates. 1 over n, 2 over n, 3 over n. Correct? But all the gaps in between them is 1 over n. So now you probably sense that, hey, wait a minute, this times this is actually the area of this first rectangle. 1 over n times the f of 2 over n is the area of the second rectangle, and so on. So you obviously cannot straight away jump there, right? You probably just write down like that, okay? Say that, wait a minute. You need to draw out this diagram, and you probably call this A1, A2, right? Let the area of the rectangle be A1, A2, right? Let AN be the area of rectangles, okay? Under fx from 0 to 1 as shown. If you don't want to describe too much, then you write as shown. Okay, people understand you. Important to let people understand you. Okay, don't just assume everyone knows what is A1, A2, right? Okay, so basically then you say A1 is equal to 1 over n times f of 1 over n. A2 is 1 over n times f of 2 over n, and so on. So therefore, then you say that A, if I have infinite number of solutions, then you probably just write down like that, okay? That A1 plus A2 plus up to AN is approximately the area under the curve. because you have a lot of areas, right, add together. But now it's not approximate, now it's equal. So then you say that, oh, okay. So it means that if my n tend to infinity, correct or not? Just copy and paste off. Now it's equal already, huh? So the concept is just this concept, really. Okay, so the concept is just this concept, and the concept is that if you have sufficient rectangles, okay, it will become the area under the curve. And of course, now it's just a matter of putting your A1, A2 as, so therefore, right, so it's 1 over n, f1 over n, 1 over n, f2 over. In fact, at this point, you just copy and paste, you get full marks already. Are you all following? And then that's what exactly they want. So you can just copy and paste, to be honest. 3 marks. Is it very difficult? Not really, if you know what you are handling. The problem with this is many students don't know what they are doing, or rather what they are required to do. They can't even visualize it as a staircase question. This is called staircase question. At least I call it. Okay? So when it happens, usually they draw for you. But this is that year that came out, they never draw for you, which is quite troubling. Okay? A lot of people get screwed here. Big time. Okay? Now, hence, evaluate this. Now, you obviously want to know there is a hence question. And therefore, they look the same. All right? And of course, you expect that, oh, these are all talking about rectangles also, right? Area of rectangles also. The only problem is now you don't just have f. In fact, you know something more. In fact, you know what is f already. And therefore, you can actually evaluate. Earlier on, you can't evaluate because you don't know what is your f. You don't know what the curve is, right? And the curve I anyhow draw, right? Yeah. So now you are supposed to able to figure out the curve. And in fact, not too hard, right? Not too hard, right? So it's 1 over n. The 1 over n is a fixed one because it's the base of the rectangle. So what you want to do is to try to spot a pattern. And I think, well, if you write it this way, you obviously see the pattern, right? Correct? And this is obviously your, you know the function already, what? The function is 1 over n cube root. 2 over n cube root. So therefore, is integration from 0 to 1, what is that called? X power 1/3. And you work out this one, you are done. Sorry, pardon my handwriting. So it's equal to 3 over 4 x 4 over 3. 1, 0. So I think the answer is 3 over 4, am I right? Got answer? I have no answer. Okay, anyway, even if it's wrong, never mind. Answer doesn't matter. Okay? Just integration, just substitution only. Most important, you all understand or not? Can this is considered challenging? Yes. And this is the kind of question I'll be worried for you when you go for your exams, because I can't prepare you for this. Okay? And on the first impression, it looks really hard. But now you know it's actually quite doable, and that is always like that. Okay? Can?